Kronos' Innocent Cops could be a good song title. Kronos' Innocent Cops could be a good song title. Kronos' Innocent Cops could be a good song title. Kronos' Innocent Cops could be a good song title. I've got innocent cops, innocent cops. I'm not dying today. You've got innocent cops, innocent cops. You're not dying today either. Let's all cough together. You'll have one big mega cough. 'Cause we're coughing for the future, I guess. I don't know. I had a good start. I didn't know where that one was going.
Are we going to be able to get it in the hole? That's the question. That is the million-dollar question. It's not as easy to get in the hole as you think. Okay, come on. Come on, get. Ah, shit. Oh, well. It was a valiant attempt. But yeah, I think we're gonna need something a little more specialized. Although, we could try to back it in. Come on. Come on.
Okay, interrupted by Bird, but that's okay. Hey, Bird, how you doing? Can you hear me, Bird?
I can. I had muted it because I didn't think. I thought I was just going to wait for the credits to finish.
Oh, okay. Well, no, that's okay. So, yeah, Thomas was right. It's a spam caller. Never mind. Okay, so Picard, episode 9. However the heck you say the title. What'd you think?
I'm giving this one a 9.
Wow, 9.
Yeah, 9/10.
9/10 of 1?
9/10.
So you're saying you hated it?
Oh man.
I mean, I didn't hate it, but
there are so many problems with this.
Hold on. So Sci-Fi Nation put $2 in. Says, really, this is for Kuroga. Hail Kuroga, number 15. Now, before I play number 15 Sci-Fi, you know there is a new one, number 29. Do you want to see that, or do you want to see number 15? You tell me, and then I'll give you a second. And I don't know why I'm not hearing anything. I don't know if it's just me.
I can hear you.
No, but, like, I can't...
I can hear it through the computer, too. Like, through the stream.
Yeah, but I can't hear, like, I'm not hearing any sounds other than you. Like, I couldn't, like, when just now when the Super Chat warning came up, and Fleet Paw puts in $1.99 and says, well, that was unexpected and wasn't long enough. Number 17. right, so guys, hold on. I'm trying to figure out why I'm not hearing anything. So let me try this. I'm going to try to play number 15. Tell me if you... So do me a favor, Bird. On your end, you have the stream up, I assume?
Yes.
See if you can hear the super chat when it plays here. Oops, that's the wrong one, isn't it? And... Why is it...
No, there's no sound.
Yeah, so... That's bizarre. So there's like, I'm having some weird technical audio
Actually,
issues.
it's very, very low, but there is sound.
Yeah, but why is that happening? It's like, for some reason, all of a sudden... Let me check the settings in XSplit. Hold on, guys. Sorry for the technical glitch. So, give me just a minute. Alright, so while I'm getting this, and I apologize, Sci-Fi Nation and Fleet Paw, I'm working on seeing what happened. Because I know XSplit just had a big old update, so I'm thinking that has something to do with that. Alright, let's try... Apply, okay, and now let's try that again. Come on. Nope, still nothing. Yeah, it's like for some reason, all of a sudden, the only audio that works is Skype. Let me try... I'll bet you it's a stupid Skype. I'll bet you that's what it is. Cause Skype...
You want me to exit?
No, because then, well, then they wouldn't be able to hear you. And everybody wants to hear you because, you know, you're so... you. But let me check these. I'm not saying I don't care about the webcam. Microphone, speakers. Yeah, because that obviously works. Unmute for incoming calls. Ring on additional device. So, Cinnamon only gives it a 1 out of 10. You gave it a 9/10 out of 10. So, Sci-Fi Nation and Fleet Paw, I will get your... let me try this. So, Bird, go ahead and hang up. I'll call you back in just a minute. Let me see if it is a Skype thing. Alright, so I'm going to try it again. Super Chats. And I don't know why number 15 was...
Sir, we are being
Yeah,
hailed.
it's Skype, all right.
On screen. What is your problem?
I am lore.
Do you need help?
I have a YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is Lore Reloaded.
Let me guess, their rubber band broke, right?
I make YouTube go.
So that is definitely the problem, and so let me get these out of the way, and then for the remainder, we'll have to hold off. Oh, Fleet Paw.
Hey, you want to learn about Jesus?
There's no such thing as hooker-client confidentiality.
And I know you did say 29. I was just kind of testing things out. So here is number 29, the newest and I think the funniest one Joshua's done to date.
A new cereal from the people who brought you Frosted Fruity Holes.
Yay! Bacon and eggs! Stop right there, kid. You can't eat that. That's a disgrace. You're better off with Plenty Puffs. What the heck is this stuff made of?
It's made of all the flowers and stuff from your mom's garden.
What?
Son, your mother and I had a talk, and I'm bringing the belt. Plenty Puffs. Why the f*** is this even a thing?
There you go. Plenty Puffs. Why is this even a thing? Alright, so now I'll call Joe back and we'll see if we can't make this work. Oh, cool. Now I'm frozen. Nice. Can you hear me?
Hello, who's calling?
This is Starfleet.
Starfleet's not here, man.
Okay, man.
So now your video's not working.
Yeah, I know. It's like I'm just like having.
Although the printer's showing.
Yeah, it's funny. It says I'm frozen for some reason. Let me try if I delete.
Go on the printer camera.
Well, that'll probably work. Of course, that's not it.
Oh, that's better.
Shit, that's better because you can see you. Yeah.
No, because you're gone.
Wow, you're kind of a jerk.
Great. Now everybody's seeing my avatar.
Yeah.
My secret Skype avatar.
Your secret Skype avatar. That's Joe the special Klingon. All right. So you said this one has a lot of problems.
Okay.
It's just.
I mean.
Go ahead. I'm turning my camera off and on, trying to figure this mess out.
First off, for those who, I mean, obviously this is spoilers. You wouldn't be here.
Yes.
If you weren't here for spoilers. Data is not okay. It's not Data, but Brent Spiner is in this as himself as Dr. Soong's son, which we have never ever heard of before, never heard mentioned. In fact, I think it was strongly implied that he didn't have any natural children. But now he has a son who is continuing his work this whole time. Did Data ever meet him? Did Data ever hear about him? Did Dr. Soong leave this message to Data that, hey, seek out my son at some point? No, never. Never. Nobody knew he existed. But also, this is this planet where there was supposed to be constant electrical storms.
Well, there was lightning in the background.
I didn't see any lightning. I heard a little rumbling of thunder.
Yeah, they showed that they.
But it was
lightning.
Blue skies.
Yeah.
When you saw the planet from orbit, it was goddamn blue skies. I mean, it had less clouds than Earth. So how is this a planet with constant electrical storms? Now, I didn't care that there weren't constant. I wouldn't have cared except for the fact that they made it a point to say constant electrical storms was something they were searching for. So that's obviously bull crap. They just decided to forget that they were looking for a planet with constant electrical storms because they got to the point like, oh shit, we can't film only during thunderstorms. That would be too expensive. So let's just have a happy-go-lucky blue planet. The entire fact that a Borg cube crashes to the ground comes through the atmosphere and survives and lands perfectly upright.
Now,
and how they just walk on? They just walk onto the cube? Does the Borg cube have? I mean, is it because the door is still open? I don't.
Right.
And Elnor and is fine. I mean, they don't. Do they have inertial dampeners? I mean, I don't know. Why was Girardi hiding under a goddamn desk? It's not supposed to be. It's not supposed to be flying through a Borg corridor. It's supposed to be shaking you up like a frickin' thing. I mean, on the bridge they were barely moving, and Girardi's hiding under a desk because they're going through the Borg corridor. Spot 2? Spot 2. How did they know about Spot 1? It's like they've been watching what Data's been doing this entire time.
You're just not gonna. Okay.
Soji's evil sister, but why? Where did she come from? So they made two versions of Soji and Daj and Jana and whatever the hell this one's name is, but they're the only ones they made duplicates of because everyone else was in pairs.
Well, they just decided that she was the hottest one, so they'd make two pairs.
Dr. Soong's son is trying to transfer his mind to an android. Meanwhile, they did that in TNG already.
Right. Well, they did that in the original series.
Right.
Dr. Corby, remember? He transferred his mind into an android back in the original series.
But let's say those were different androids.
True.
In TNG, that doctor did it to Data. He transferred his consciousness to a Soong-type android. So, obviously that technology already exists. But Dr. Soong's son doesn't know about that?
No, because he's stupid. I don't understand what you're confused about, Bird.
Oh, so now the ships are warbirds.
Yes.
I don't know if you read the description of the episode. The
Well,
warbirds are on their way.
They refer to them as warbirds. I didn't have a problem with that.
When did they refer to them as warbirds?
There we go. I finally figured out the camera thing. I believe they referred to them. I'm trying to remember, but warbirds. I mean, why do you have a problem with the term warbirds?
I thought they were snakeheads.
No, that's the little ship that Emo Spock twin was flying. That was the snakehead.
So they're different ships.
Yeah, his was just like the size. You saw his is tiny even compared to the La Serena.
Oh, okay.
And so the warbirds, although these warbirds look much smaller than like the Dideridex class, but they're significantly larger than Emu Spock Romulan's ship.
They have 218 warbirds.
Yes. On their way.
Why weren't they being used to evacuate or move Romulan people from a planet?
Well, it's only 218.
Still.
And I got to say, first of all, hey, well, let me say this real quick, because we had 2 super chats come in. Fleet Paw put in $1.99 and said, it's Turtistani Sickle, please, no BirdOPrey number 6. So I got that. I'm going to play the super chats after, because there's something about Skype that's not letting the audio work. So I'll play them after we get Bird off. And then Sci-Fi puts in $2, says, Andy Trigger, my friend, play BirdOPrey5, please, and thank you. What is BirdOPrey5, Sci-Fi? I have no idea what you're talking about there.
Oh, I did a video as BirdOPrey5 the other day.
Oh, did you? Okay. I didn't see that.
Yeah, it was telling everybody when I was going to be on Loki's Mornings of Mischief.
Oh, that's right. The true meaning of St. Patrick's Day.
The true meaning of St. Patrick's Day.
Here's the thing. I know you're proudly Italian, and as such, you have little, if any, regard for the Irish culture and tradition. And so, being that I am half Irish, I found that video offensive.
Offensive? It was 100% factually correct.
That's what I find offensive, is that you think that is factually correct.
So telling the true history of Ireland is offensive to you. What would you prefer I said? That it was founded by drunks?
Well, that would be more accurate. JD says, it bugged me when the La Serena lost power, so internal dampeners offline, and during the descent, the planet's atmosphere, they were able to walk to Picard.
Yes, yeah. Another thing. And if they lost power, why didn't the board cube?
And no, I don't have the fully con file yet. I'm still working on some of that stuff.
Why would they send these things up to begin with?
Well, because...
I mean, the La Serena was in no danger with the board cube.
Well, they might not... the flowers, the orchids, took down the La Serena and the board cube. It's obviously some kind of defense system.
To just take down any ship that enters orbit?
They're paranoid. They're xenophobic.
But they're only got 15 of them left.
No, 10
Make
now.
a million. 10. Okay, so make.
Although
make
then later they said 15.
They could make more.
Right.
But not so quickly.
And dreamers out there, you did say a data retcon was coming. You're right. So obviously, because apparently everybody in Dr. Soon's family looks exactly alike. Because how many members of the Soon family has Brent Spiner now played? Because he played Soon himself. He played his grandfather on Enterprise? And now his son. And of course he played Data and Lore and B4. So, I guess we still have to... Maybe we'll get him in drag so he can be Soon's daughter, too. And Alexander is in the house, the Korogan Minister of Propaganda. Says, hello, Michael. I am now on the job. It not easy. Good to see Alexander.
Good morning, Alexander.
Bird is just finding ways to hate it. Well, that's the thing. I do think Bird's being a little harsh on it. I will say this.
Okay, an alien, a synthetic intelligence that's watching them all the time, but needs them to send a signal when they want them to come?
Well, I see what I got there, and I think this was clunkily written. I will grant you that. But I think what they mean is they're constantly monitoring for that particular frequency that Dr. Soon said was built into the vision. You see what I'm saying? And Sci-Fi Nation puts $5 in, says teaser new fan film by Vance Major Owen of No Budget Productions to follow, number 23. Well, very cool. And he puts in a link for some people to leave my live stream and go check out something else. It's in very poor taste, Sci-Fi Nation, but that's okay. I'll let it slide this time.
Okay,
Yeah.
I don't like that there's a larger intelligence out there that's just going to sweep in and destroy everything. What about the Q? Could the Q just not blink these people out of existence?
Could the Q do that?
I'm just saying. They say that they're going to come and they're going to destroy all organic life. Well, first, why? If they're really these advanced beings, why do they have to destroy all organic life? Why not just bring the synthetic life to them? That makes zero sense.
Well, actually, here's the thing: is that this is where I think that this episode is its biggest problem is not the details that you're bringing up. It's the fact that this is a recycled Trek plot. This is the recycled, everybody wants to get us, therefore we're going to wipe out everybody plot. It's happened a dozen times over in Trek. And so the persecuted decide that they're going to wipe out everybody because they're the persecuted.
And now we see Soji's sister is really the destroyer. And she killed one of her own so that she could turn their opinions on I was going to say the solids. Because it sounds exactly.
Well, that's what I'm saying. This is.
It sounds exactly like the.
Now, the good thing about that, even though it's a recycled Trek trope type plot that they're boiling it down to, the good I'll say is that at least it is a Trek trope, right? It's not. It does feel like this is something you would see in Trek, but. Where I have some problems with this episode, and you can tell like the writing shift from 2 or 3 episodes ago to now, and I'll get your super chat in just a second, Alexander. But the idea that like Rafi thanking Picard for everything that he's done for her. What the hell are you talking about? He abandoned you 15 years ago, and throughout this series. All you've been talking about is what a dick Picard was. Now you want to get all mushy because he's dying?
I think she's going through the steps.
I don't know, but it's stupid to me because I think that Rafi, I could see Soji saying that maybe, but Rafi? No, Rafi can't stand what Picard has done to her. And so that makes no sense to me.
And then the whole thing about, let's not kill if we don't have to.
Yeah, exactly.
Finally, 86 deaths in.
Right. I thought about you.
Let's not kill if we don't have to.
Yeah, what he says, there's
now
a difference.
There's a difference. Decide not to kill somebody.
Right. There's a difference
the
between
one person
killing,
you should have.
Yeah. There's a difference between killing an enemy and watching a wounded enemy die. That was horrible.
And of course, we knew the minute that they made that choice, you knew Narek was going to come back and do something to prove him wrong.
Right.
But Alexander just looks halfway serious as super chat.
All right. So Alexander says, in Russia, this is chaotic. My girlfriend has the symptoms of coronavirus. I felt on the ice this morning, and I have a head hatch.
Nice.
Okay.
Headache. He has a headache. He fell on the ice. You gotta translate.
Yeah. Okay. And they reduced the hours of the job. Yeah, I'll tell you. I can't speak for Russia, but I know that like when I was a guest host on Trek Yards today, had a blast with Commander Cockings, and while we were doing the live stream, I got a text message from my boss, and they're completely changing everyone's schedule starting tomorrow. And I'm like, whoa, what, huh? And so. Guys, I apologize. My live stream schedule, no freaking idea. I'm learning Irish now. No fecking idea. Because everything is up in the air as far as my employer, there's a lot of craziness going on. So, as far as your girlfriend, hey, first of all, Alexander, if she is relatively healthy and everything, she should be just fine. The coronavirus for people who do not have compromised immune systems is relatively minor. Ensign
And
Ricky thought it was
sorry
a
you
decent
hit your
episode.
head, Alexander.
Yeah, and I'm sorry about the headache. That sucks, but, you know, just take care of yourself, man. Admiral F-Bomb will save them next week. Absolutely she will. Admiral F-Bomb is going to end up being the hero of this series. And it's Admiral Pottymouth, or Ensign Ricky's great-granddaughter, whichever you prefer.
So we got to see the full clip of the fox decomposing.
Which is
now.
the 1975 video of the fox decomposing.
Now we know why the fox was in there.
Yeah. But so that's the funny thing, though. So this whole thing boils down to what really would have been a single episode of the original series or TNG.
Oh, and the lady, Soji's sister, whose name I don't know, taught herself how
Just
to
call her
mind meld.
Gold Soji.
Taught herself how to mind meld.
Yeah, now that is like, wait a minute. I was even when she was doing it, I was like, okay, I could see like if Soon, and this is the stupid thing because this is how bad the writing gets. Soon could have easily said, you know what, I was experimenting with Vulcan physiology, and so I was trying to duplicate Vulcan abilities with her, and so she can actually mind meld. And I would have been cool. But to say, oh, she studied and now she can mind meld because, you know what, if you read enough books, you'll get psychic powers, apparently. But then
Apple, hey, if you didn't watch Picard yet and you don't want to know.
Yeah, go, leave now. We're going to rip this thing to pieces here. Although, rip to pieces, well, Bird will be ripping it to pieces. I'm being a little less mean. But now let me say this, and I don't know what you thought, Bird, but I thought it was an absolute badass moment when we saw the Borg cube come out of the transwarp conduit. That was gorgeous.
Except now that the Borg conduit looks like the wormhole.
Yeah, but it was still a badass moment.
It was, but it makes no sense.
Dude,
They just opened another conduit. They just happened to be by one that happened to go to this place.
Well, Picard said
the timing was extremely convenient.
Picard said to Seven that because she had, although, and this is another thing that kind of doesn't make sense. How is it that Seven could control the cube when she's not plugged into it?
I don't know why they're food replicators on a Borg cube.
Yeah, I didn't get that either. Which is like, oh, they're trying to repair the food replicators. Why? What do drones need with food replicators? And apparently, even though she's not plugged in, all the XBs are now just drones.
And why did Seven need Picard to tell it turn on long range sensors?
Because Seven is stupid now.
Well, first the crash. What do we need? We need sensors. That's what we need. Don't worry about the food replicators.
So Ralph says we can talk to your employer and make them an offer they can't refuse that helps with your schedule. That'd be nice, Ralph. That would be very nice. Dreamers out there says, if she can mind meld, can't she transfer Dr. Soong's Katra to his new body? Exactly. That was kind of stupid.
Thomas, I'm not finding ways to hate it. It's just like they beat me over the head with ridiculousness expect me to think it's great.
And let me point, Thomas sent me a side chat in Skype, and I agree. The food replicators is the Romulan food replicators, but my point is, why would they need them? Why would the Borg be working on fixing the Romulan food replicators if the XBs are full-on drones now? They can just plug into a regenerative station. And so,
you crashed on an M-class planet. Food. How did there was something like how did they know? How did Soji know that they were 5 kilometers away from where they were? The whole ship was surrounded by a flower.
So Soji is now ex machina, and she just knows everything. I mean, and that's something I don't like, but that's another trope where
she felt the way the ship was falling and could determine how far she was in kilometers away from the settlement.
Because she's plugged in with the rest of the Soonian droids.
And how are all those androids going to fit on the La Serena?
Well,
did you see how many of them there were? They were in the windows.
Yeah, but there was maybe a couple hundred of them. You could put a couple hundred people on the La Serena.
A couple hundred people on La Serena? Goddamn, the thing is crowded with 5 people on it.
I didn't say they would have lots of room. I'm saying they would fit. And Sci-Fi puts $5 in. By the way, the drones in your kill count last week, ? Don't count. 7 activated them before they went into space last week. Borg survive in space.
No, if they survived in space, you would have beamed them back.
Yeah, those drones would be on the Borg cube if they had survived. I'm sorry. And yes, I will get Feces and Lorehead. I'm making a list, by the way, of all the Super Chat stuff because I can't play them while Bird's talking to me.
Marlena, to me, the show didn't go off a cliff. It slammed right into it.
No, you see, and that's where me and Bird are going to disagree a little bit. I think that this episode, while it definitely has its problems, I don't think that it was the train wreck that last week was.
I will say it ended better than it began.
And it did have the genuinely badass moment of the cube when it comes out. I think that, but again, and this is a problem that I've had with the last episode too, is that they show you 13 seconds of badass Borg moment and then nerf it immediately. And that's what they did here, because the Borg cube comes in through this transwarp hub, and it's like, oh, badass! And then immediately the cube is taken down by a couple of space flowers. That, I'm like, what?
Oh, Dr. Girardi finds this old school medical tricorder.
Yeah, old school.
And she, all of a sudden, she sees Picard is hours away from death.
Yeah.
She starts tearing up. All of a sudden, now he's about to die. He's imminently in danger of death. When it could have taken years even, before anything happened. Just a week ago, 2 weeks ago. How far are they in?
I don't know. It's kind of hard to say exactly how much time has gone by. Worst line in the series so far, even though I didn't think this episode was as bad as Bird clearly does. Worst line in the season so far is when Picard says, anybody who treats me like a dying man, you run the risk of pissing me off.
Oh, you run the risk of pissing me off.
Yeah, it's like, oops, he should have said, I pissed myself.
Yeah, you run the risk of me pissing on you.
Yeah. Great Turgy puts $5 in. Thank you so much. Says, why does an unscripted show like Curb Your Enthusiasm more consistent with their canon than Star Trek? Because Curb Your Enthusiasm, and I'm not a fan of, I've never actually watched it, but I would imagine that it's because the actors and producers care about canon.
Well, there's also one show, and the people who do the show love that show. Whereas Star Trek is, seven different shows over
not only that,
50 years.
But the problem I have isn't even like with them doing the occasional... I don't care about the occasional continuity mistake from prior Trek, but when they're not even consistent within this season.
Right, that is my biggest problem.
Yeah, I honestly, the fact that, oh, wait a minute, the transwarp hub didn't look like that, I can get over that. But when they start, like, having Soji, oh, she's a druggie, she's not, she's a druggie, she's not, she's a druggie, she's not, that is annoying. Because make up your freaking mind. And Alexander puts $2 Canadian in, says 7 of 9 is the best character ever. Well, I'll let you, he's your propaganda minister. What do you say to that?
Sure, Alexander. That's fine. I mean, she was probably one of the best of this episode.
I would say, and I don't know. See, 7 of 9, I actually liked her better in the last episode. She sounded, for a brief moment, she sounded like 7 of 9. When she said things like, I can explain or I can steal this cube. That sounded like 7 of 9. But in this one, she's like wisecracking, hey, Picard, are you here to break things or hell? It's like, oh, come on, that's... And I know that I complained about that before, but I want 7 of 9 is supposed to be a stoic character. Not a swag. She feels like she's just Rios with boobs.
Oh, and Rios and Girardi are basically in love now.
Yeah. The Flowers made... it's funny you should say that, Thomas. I thought about the animated series as well with The Flowers. I don't know about you, Bird, but The Flowers definitely made me think of the animated series.
I only watched a few episodes of the animated series.
Really?
Yeah.
Dick. Well, the boobs are there. That is true. Ryan says, last time they left the doctor alone with a patient, she murdered him, but now
Yeah.
she's scared. They left her alone with Picard.
Yeah, Picard waking up to see Girardi over him, and the doctor is like the most. And again, she's not a medical doctor.
Yeah, I know. It's
Why is she doing this?
Yeah, what's wrong? Well, granted, the EMH was offline.
But fine, but Rafi is Starfleet. She's had medical training. Minimal medical training, at least all Starfleet officers get. Rios is Starfleet. He's had medical training.
Mm-hmm.
Girardi works with robots.
Yeah. And yes, the Lorelei signal was a good episode of the animated series. But yeah, I think that the flowers I thought were interesting conceptually. I didn't have a problem with it, and the Borg cube I thought looked totally badass coming out of that conduit. But the problem is that this episode had moments where it's like ooh, and then they kind of just drop it, and then becomes the old. Okay, the androids are evil, so that we can have a big battle next week where the androids are going to bring in the super killer uber massive threat, which basically, by the way, keep in mind, this whole thing proves that the Zot Vash were right all along.
Yep.
The Zot Vash were 100% correct, which means that no matter how you try to spin it, Commodore O and Admiral Pottymouth and everybody was right and Picard was wrong. Because they really are the evil, and he's going to try to talk them out of it and everything, but the thing is that this show doesn't have the balls to have Picard talk their way out of a battle like they did on TNG.
The line that the synth ban was just destroying us before we were made or something.
Yeah, it's like, come on.
Oh, God.
And the Great Turgi puts in another 5 and says, what if, surprise, it's all Dr. Bashir and his augment hooligans behind this? That would be hilarious, actually. Sci-Fi says, hate to tell you this, Ant Trigger, but told you so?
Okay.
What?
Again, they specifically said during the abomination, or whatever the hell it's called, admiration, whatever, that humans fear synthetic life because they don't grow old.
Yes.
But
and rot and decay.
But Data grow old. They created Data to grow old. We already established that.
Yes.
The other synthetic, they can be made to grow old and die. Dr. Soong programmed an android to die. That was Data's mother.
Yes.
There was no reason they can't be programmed to grow old and die.
Yes. But the problem is that now, let's say if you get to a point where, let's say that Data's grandchildren decide they're going to build some robots and improve on the model and everything, and they decide, what's the point in the whole growing old and dying thing? How about we just make them live forever? And this is again nothing new to Star Trek. All right, so if we look at Sargon and his crew were trying to make robot bodies that would last tens of thousands of years. We had in iMud, they were talking about transferring consciousness into the android bodies and lasting tens of thousands of years. This is absolutely nothing new to Trek.
And they've redoubled down that Data's face is part of the admonition.
Because I guess Data is 200,000 years old, maybe?
I don't know. Maybe Data's going to be. Maybe they're gonna get the signal, and Data's going to come, and he's going to take them all away.
The way you said that, it just sounded really wrong.
You sick bastard.
You don't even know what I'm talking about.
I said Data's going to come, and you were like, "Rrr."
That's not. You see, you were wrong. That's not what I meant, but that's okay. So that's all you think about. And yeah, where's Lore? And the funny thing is that they made this whole big deal about the twins thing, which apparently is meaningless, except that they happen to manufacture these robots in groups of 2, right?
So are these all from Data's neurons? Apparently, because that woman said, "You're Captain Picard."
Right, so they all recognize him because they're all made from data.
How many neurons did they save?
Well, it doesn't matter if they're all cloned. Like if you had a single neuron and you were able to clone a Sunian android from one neuron, then you could use that Sunian android's neurons to clone more. So they could all be generationally from a single neuron. I don't have a problem with that.
I have a problem with them leaving the stupidest one to guard Narek.
Oh yeah, the Kristen Wiig looking one?
I don't know who that is, but yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'll take that description. Like, oh, some water, I'm thirsty. And she's going to turn. Why do they even have a prison if they've never had prisoners?
Well, it looks like it's just, they just set up a force field around a closet. So Spot 2 is Data's kid too, right? Well, who knows?
They used the original Spot neuron to clone Spot 2.
Copy of a copy? I don't think that works. Why not? And by the way, Bezel Plus, you think copies degrade, but you're thinking of analog copies as opposed to a digital copy. A digital copy can be perfect every single time. If you were doing something biological, you would copy after copy after copy, like biological cloning. You would get mutations and variances that way. But if you're doing a digital copy, then it's entirely possible that you could get a perfect copy a billion times over.
And it's clear, Thomas, he's printing toilet paper.
Clearly, yes, it's toilet. No, it is actually, it is in fact an android. That's all I'll say right now. But it isn't. It's a android from a science fiction franchise that all of you know. And Great Turkey puts another 5 in and says, sorry for my direct chat. What are you talking about? I don't mind you skipping the line with that. I'm new here. What about LOL? I'm sure there's still data parts left from Nemesis. And hi, Anti-Trigger. Hey, Great Turkey. What about LOL? She's gone, apparently. Although Maddox had her body, right?
I would think.
Yes.
I mean, we don't know that, but it would make sense.
Yeah. So if Maddox had Lowell's body, they could have used that as part of the research. But, the funny thing is that they kept saying how nobody was able to duplicate Dr. Soon's work. Well, now they have Dr. Soon. So what do they need Data's neurons for if they have a Soon there?
What were they talking about when they never got into it, but they brought it up, is that Bruce Maddox was turning evil or something.
Yeah, because I guess I think that was just so that you wouldn't feel as bad about Dr. Girardi killing him.
I'm thinking Bruce was getting mad that Soon was working on conscious transfer.
Right.
And that I think that Data's son, Soon's son, is actually going to be a bad guy.
And Sci-Fi says they gave them to B4 and Nemesis. Are you talking about Data? No, the only thing they gave to B4 and Nemesis was Data's memories. And remember, they actually addressed B4. The only thing they have not addressed is lore. Because they should be able to make all the copies they want from Lore's neurons.
Well, they haven't addressed Lore, they haven't addressed Lol, and they haven't addressed Data's mom.
Well, Data's mom, the last we saw her, she was going off to live a normal life and would die one day.
And then they would know she was an android,
right,
presumably.
But I'm expecting the Cylons number 6 to show up any second now. That, yeah, they're Cylons. And that's another thing is like, yeah, that's the problem with this, is that they're not really telling an interesting original story. They're just borrowing elements from other stories and slapping it together. And that is the biggest weakness of this show, is that while there are elements of this show that I find really interesting and compelling, they didn't like sit there and say, hey, what's an interesting story we could tell in the Star Trek universe? And instead they were like, hey, what are things that people liked, and throw that together into a story. And Dr. Alex is in the house, says, good morning, Anti-Trekker. My workplace will be shutting after tomorrow. Might help with my video production. Well, that's sad and good, I guess. My workplace is not shutting down, but like they're screwing with everybody's schedule, so I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen there. Joey says, if the Guardian of Forever is sentient, does it count as a synth? It was made in a time before the soul existed. It's a device that's older than the disaster from 200,000 years ago.
Beginning of time. I've waited for a question.
Yes. We don't know. I mean, that'd be interesting, like, what, who built the Guardian of Forever? We'll probably never get an answer to that, but heck, that could be the massive synths from the past. Because, after all, they are synths, we find out now. That it's not a warning about synths, it's the synths reaching out to find other synths saying that... And which, okay, here's a problem. Why are these super synths waiting to wipe out all organic life? Why not just wipe out all organic life now?
Yeah, why not just destroy the entire universe?
Right, what are they waiting for? And then, so we can all be happy synths together. Well, you already are happy synths. What do you need them for? Didn't Data use his positronic brain for lol? Maybe that's where they got it from. Well, I think he did, but we'll probably never know.
Dr. Alex asks if I'm keeping healthy. I mean, as healthy as I can, Dr. Alex.
No, Bird is on his deathbed.
Don't say those things.
Sorry. What I meant to say was Bird is going to die, but not today. Is that better? Okay, Bird's not dying. Today. And are you feeling better? Well, Dr. Alex, I'll be honest with you. My allergies have been kicking up a storm, which makes people paranoid around me, which I think is hilarious. But I don't have, like, corona symptoms or anything. Like, I'm not running a fever or coughing or anything like that. But my sinuses have been congested, and that's just because people are starting to cut their grass, and it's driving me crazy. Harlan Edison is dead. Can't sue for using Guardian of Forever anymore. Too soon? No. And Robert says they got triggered. Who got triggered? I missed something. They are synth vampires. They need to be invited. That makes sense. That actually makes sense. Ralph says, no, because Kurtzman never heard of the Guardian. Well, I'm sure Kurtzman has heard of the Guardian of Forever. I mean, I know we kid about Kurtzman being, and all that, but I think that I don't think that Kurtzman wants Star Trek to fail. I just think he's not the best. He wants to do it new and better, and that's what Star Trek doesn't need, is someone who thinks they can make it better. Alexander puts another $2 and says, why Soji turned heel? I loved her so much. Well, because she's an evil, filthy synth, apparently. Right? You there,
All
Bert?
synths must be destroyed.
Yeah. Is that the new Kurogan directive?
No. We just keep them a little stupid.
Oh, okay. So you make them Kurogan. And Thomas says, sassy, oops, sorry, our agent in Kuroga says Bird is having lots of gas. I'm not surprised. And Ryan says, Corona Trekker, it's official. No, nothing official. I'm fine. JD says, PVC pipe of knowledge is now the PVC pipe of synthetic overlords. Yes. And nobody thought, that... See, and the thing is that what really seems stupid to me is, as soon as the synth Soji, gold Soji was like, oh, let me mind meld with you. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. It's not a warning. It's an invitation. It's like, okay, so basically the Zotvash are correct. Picard is wrong. All right, we're done. We're just gonna have a big explosive battle at the end, and Picard will give a speech about optimism and hope without meaning it.
And Picard saying, I will advocate for you. The Federation will listen to me.
Yeah. It's like, it really did seem like he was just like, okay, Picard's delusional now.
And how did Sue know? I asked her, and she's like, no, they won't.
Yeah. Burnham is the Guardian of Forever. Okay. That would be weird. Dr. Alex says, do you have toilet paper, Elise? Here we have already descended into a Mad Max-esque nightmare fueled by toilet paper, or guzzo crap, as it is now known in the new lingo. We have toilet paper, but we don't have an overabundance of toilet paper, so we have to hope and pray that Mad Max will drive the freight truck full of toilet paper to the side of the country soon. Shirt Guy says, I'd rather have Nicholas Meyer in charge of... Well, yeah, so say we all. But Nicholas Meyer ain't.
Stan Lee. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, what was that?
I was just going to answer Stan Lee.
What do you say?
He said, the guy managed to overpower the android girl and stab the robot in the eye with the brooch. No, I don't think he did it. I think evil Soji did it. Soji's sister killed the other girl.
Yeah, but to what end? What was the point in that?
To blame Narek so that all the other synths would be sympathetic to say that all organics are bad because Narek is going to kill them. It's false flag.
Yeah. But it's like, oh, so wait a minute. Because one Romulan spy killed one android, all organic. Where's the logic in that?
Apparently, they don't even know the basic logic of the needs of the many outweighing the needs of the few.
Right.
Because that would have come in handy when Soji says, well, when is it necessary to kill?
Yeah.
Or when, well.
And Forza says, allergies suck. I always think of my allergies as an advantage. I rather rarely get sick since nothing stays in my nose and throat for that long. Yeah, I agree. It does suck, but, you know, I do think it's hilarious. Like, if I walk into, you know, I have to be careful to not cough or sneeze in public because people freak out and think that, oh, no, it's a carrier, you know, so. Let's see. But here's the thing. Even if Narek did do it, Narek does have approximately 3 times human strength. So he might buy it if he caught her off guard. And they would have taken Dr. Murder to DS-12. If they had taken Dr. Murder to DS-12, none of this would have happened. Very true. Excuse me. Great Turkey says, what about the prototypes on Voyager? Which prototypes? Do you know what he's talking about?
Prototypes?
Yes.
What about the prototypes on Voyager? I have no idea.
So, and you can put in a regular track rate church. You tell me what you mean, and I'll not sure what you're talking about there. Mike Richards is here from Columbus, Ohio. Good to see you. Tina Turner will start a community where they learn to run on leaves as an alternate to guzzo crap. Probably. That's probably happening. 7 of 9 has Drone's army under her orders. Well, I don't know about
not a very big army.
Yeah.
And they're not technically drones, although they seem to just listen to her. Oh, and Picard. Picard, what? Did he become in contact with the Borg Collective as the cube came in?
Yeah, what was that? Apparently, though, that was just him, like, having an episode of his aromatic syndrome.
Just as the Borg cube came in, and he was saying thank you to people. Because that didn't make any sense.
No, I didn't understand. And that's the problem with this show, is every now and then they drop something like that, and then they never touch on it again. Sounds like they took elements from Fallout 4, Star Trek Online. The plot sounds like a small character quest chain where Curie wants to become human, and thus they used a synth body. Yeah?
Using the synthetic life forms on Voyager.
Yeah. Let's see. I found the perfect way to socially distance yesterday. Went to the swimming pool and was the only person swimming. Dreamers Out There says they encountered a whole race of androids called the Prototypes in the Delta Quadrant. I don't remember that. Do you?
Yeah, there was an episode where these 2 races of androids were fighting each other.
Yeah.
They kidnapped B'Elanna because they couldn't reproduce.
So I guess they were not quite advanced enough to get the attention of the super synths.
Well, until they ever find that thing.
The PVC pipe of knowledge.
Yes, until they ever find that, nobody would ever know to use those subspace frequencies. I mean, God forbid somebody use those subspace frequencies accidentally.
Right. And
brought upon the robot apocalypse.
Yeah, that would be, yeah. So the robot apocalypse is on us. And yes, Ryan, the synths are instantly organophobic. The synths just suddenly, instantaneously became so xenophobic that they are quite calmly and rationally discussing wiping out all life in the universe.
There's got to be a race out there that wouldn't mind the synths. I mean, we have Binars, you have Borg. Mm-hmm. There's got to be races out there who would be happy to have synths.
Right. but not anymore. Wikipedia is something. Oh, that's for the prototype episode. Thank you, Thomas. And let's see. It's from season 2, and it was directed by Jonathan Frakes. That's kind of funny. They whipped out their creators, and B'Elanna got hostage. Yeah, the sense in prototypes. Yes. Let's see. Don't sneeze in public, or you'll be considered a social pariah. Oh, that makes it fun though. And Dr. Alex is ducking out for a second to check something. Uh-oh. I think he's looking for Tina Turner outside.
Epic Beard says Q will appear at the end of episode 10. I'm wondering if he will.
But what would the point even be?
Because the robots since come to destroy the galaxy, and Q just comes and says, "Look what you've gotten yourself into now, Jean-Luc," and snaps his fingers and erases all sense from existence.
That would be really lame.
I can't see how this doesn't end lame. Like, how this secret was ever going to be anything but lame. That's what they've drawn us into.
Well, the super synths are going to attack, and even though they're hundreds of thousands of years old and wiped out an empire like the Takan Empire that could move stars around, Picard and Rios on the La Sirena will defeat them.
And why aren't they using that magic thing that they gave that can fix a ship to fix the Borg cube?
Well, that's what they should. Well, we don't know. They might do that.
Well, they only gave him one.
Yeah.
And why did Seven and Elnor stay on the cube? I guess just to hang out because they couldn't pay him. Couldn't pay him for this episode.
They're making little Sevens and Elnors to populate the cube. Ensign Ricky says it's lore. Huh?
I don't.
I'm lost on that one.
You think that Soon's son is actually lore?
Oh, okay. So yeah.
But then he wouldn't need to transfer his consciousness into an android body.
Right. Which is, and that's another thing. It's like, so Soon is actually making a robot body for himself so that he can be the one and only person to survive the robot apocalypse.
Yeah.
I mean, what kind of a dick move is that? And Sci-Fi Nation with another $2 says, answer pick of gold, BirdOPrey5. Lenya makes my missus laugh.
What's a Leia?
Pick of gold, BirdOPrey5. Oh, are you talking about the back here? This BirdOPrey5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hedonism bot.
And you and number 1. All right, so mark number 1. Putting that on the list. Valor says, whenever I hear the word synth, I can't help but think of the Institute from Fallout 4 because they use synth for their synth sounds almost identical to what is in Picard.
Okay, I will give him some credit. Finally, we had what looked like a paper photograph, but was actually a video photograph.
Yes, it was a futuristic photograph.
Yes, so I will give him full credit for that one. That's what they all should have been up to this point, but I think they only had money to do it on one episode.
You think that's what the they spent $40 billion on that one picture, that one?
Obviously.
Yeah. And Ralph says, V'ger made it with control and spawned the synths. No, why not? Making as much sense as anything else at this point.
So I guess we do get the answer that these people were all made. So I guess the answer really was that they didn't need Bruce Maddox. Did they?
No,
I mean, Soon's son was already baking these things. So they never needed Data to begin with.
Well, maybe they did because quantum.
But no, if Dr. Soon already knew how to create datas, and Soon's son was continuing his research, obviously had access to his work, why would they need Data to create more datas?
Because quantum.
The entire premise of this show is gone because Dr. Soon had a son that was already capable of making more datas.
Well, except that he said that he needed Maddox to do the brain side. He could just do the bodies.
So Dr. Soon's son didn't have as much knowledge as Dr. Soon.
No, he's like stupid Soon.
And Soon didn't give him any of his research or his notes. Like, here's how you make data, son.
No. Well, when did he have time to have a kid that looks exactly like him? Like every member of his family, apparently.
Who's the mother? Who's the mother?
Laxwana Troy? It couldn't. Why not?
I mean, when Data's mom, do you think she would have said, "Oh yeah, I've got a son, my son with Dr. Soon, with Nulian"?
And so, I mean,
You're the closest thing I have to a son. Didn't she tell that to Data?
Yeah.
She had a son.
Well, yeah, but you see, that son was a dick. And so she likes Data better. You can't expect any consistency. Come on now, Bird.
The crystalline entity. It's mom.
So yeah, I think the problem is that they just basically thought, ooh, what's some cool things we can do, like having the Borg cube show up, seeing a Borg cube crash, having flower spaceships and stuff, and they just, okay, so now we need to throw a story around that.
Wait, isn't a Borg cube 3 kilometers?
Yes.
And yet it crashed, they said, what, a few kilometers away? And
no, they said that the city was 5 kilometers away. They didn't say what the distance of the Borg cube was.
But still, that Borg cube should have looked like a freaking giant on the horizon. It clearly wasn't 100 kilometers away. They walked to it.
Well,
it was going to take them a little longer to walk to the Borg cube than to the city. They clearly were going to the cube and the city in the same day. So that Borg cube should have been like Mount Everest on the horizon.
Well, except that most of it disintegrated in the crash.
No, it didn't. It was still a cube.
No, it was kind of a rectangle.
I think that was just what went into the dirt. Everybody was fine on board.
Well, 7, and that's the funny thing. So it's a 3 kilometer squared ship, and they walk in the door, and look, there's 7 and Elnor.
Oh yeah, it just happened to be by the door where they opened.
Yeah, why not?
Elnor runs up.
Yeah.
And how does Elnor know he's dying?
What do you mean?
Elnor says, "But you're dying now." To Picard, he's like, "This could be goodbye forever. You're dying."
Oh yeah, well that's because quantum hugs transfer information. Quantum transfer hugs. It's the Vulcan hug meld.
I don't know. This episode has me very, very bothered.
All right, so what are you going to give this one? Give it a number score here.
I don't know. This is... I think this is the worst episode.
So what are you going to give it?
I'll have to watch it again, but I'm leaning to it too.
Okay, so you really didn't like this episode.
No, I really didn't like it.
Yeah. So I am going to give I don't think this is the worst episode. I would say that the last 2 episodes were far worse than this one. I'm going to give this one just an initial off the cuff, probably about a 5.5. I think that it's bouncing back a little bit from the low point that was last week, but I do think that the finale next week is just going to be a big action pew-pew fest instead of the deep intellectual thing we would want to expect from Picard.
Nothing made me expect a deep intellectualism so far.
Well, no, but I'm saying like we would want from a Picard show. You understand what I mean?
That was 9 episodes ago. I wanted that from Picard show. Now I just want them to stop making fun of him. Stop hitting him. He's already down.
Stop beating up the old man. Captain Trek says give it a 7. Ensign Ricky says 6 to 7. I'm, Epic Beard 6. Like I'm yeah.
Great Toogie -8.
Yeah, I think -8 is a bit much. I mean, keep in mind that 0 means 0 entertainment value whatsoever. So -8 would be like you after watching it, you would be like the Romulans after watching the vision of, you'd want to bash your face in with a rock and stuff. Robert gives it a 2. 2 lights out of 4. Drew was out there 3. Laughable Larry solid 7. Gabe agrees, puts a 6.5. So it looks like the general consensus is around a 6. And Great Turgid, yes, you are absolutely right. Give us the Trek we want and they can print money. That is 100% true. But unfortunately, it's something that CBS doesn't seem to grasp. That's the big problem, is that CBS doesn't seem to understand that we don't want you to reinvent the wheel. You don't need to recreate Trek from scratch. Just create something that's consistent with Trek, and they'll have every Trekkie and Trekker out there happily subscribing to CBS All Access. And that's the sad thing, is that they could make Trek a very viable and profitable franchise, but they're just not doing it. All right, so with that, I think we're going to wrap it up because
you got super chats to play.
Yeah, I'm going to play the super chats once you're off the line there.
Yeah,
and
take care, guys. Kapla.
Take care, Bird. All right, so let me play this. So we owe a number 6. And now I know Sci-Fi wanted Leprechaun of Prey. I don't have a Leprechaun of Prey available, but what we do have,
and in Tasmania, they're all cousins.
But if you don't like Ozzy of Prey,
bring in the dingoes. Not the possum, each other. Dingoes, no. Tasmania. Oh, not dingoes. Raccoons.
Okay, so there we go. And Alexander says, what? 7 of 9. This is at least a 12. I got to disagree with you on that. I know you love 7 of 9, Alexander, and but she was all right, but she didn't save this episode. In the meantime, so number 6 was a request from Fleet Paw. So let me get that for you.
The suffering. I have such sights to show. Oh. What's the...
So there we go, a little pinhead action. Thank you, Fleet Paw. And then we got Sci-Fi Nation requested number 23 and also Feces and Lorehead. So let me see if I can get these out, and then we'll be caught up, and then we'll talk for a minute and then wrap things up here. Hold on. And hail, Ozzy. Yes, I am Ambassador Anti-Trekker when over at Trek Yards. Indeed, that is my new official rank. Alright, and get back to there, and then let's see if I can find... Is it this one?
spinning Spock has space dyslexia. Next on Six Sad World.
Laura, this sucks. Let's go get some money. Hi. I'm Feces. This is Lorehead. Can we have some money?
Feces? Loreface? What kind of names are those?
My name is Lorehead, sir. Lorehead. Like, my head is full of lore. Get it?
Yeah. And I'm Feces. Like poop.
Anyway, boys, I sure could use a hand from a couple of strong young lads.
Okay.
You see, I've been stuck in this dang old hospital bed for nigh about a decade now, and I can't adjust it quite right. Can you boys reach that lever under the bed?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's it. Just give it a nice hard yank.
Who said yank?
Yeah.
Hey, baby, come to Lorehead.
Laura, what are you doing with that lever? Come on, man, I want to turn.
Son of a bitch! You stupid kids, you don't ever listen. What the hell am I supposed to do now?
I don't know.
Damn it.
Alright, and back to the chat we go for a couple minutes here. And don't worry, I have not forgotten about you, Alexander. So, Ozzy says, all hail Ambassador Anti-Tricker. Mike says, bye-bye, Birdie. Great Turgy says, good night. Sci-Fi says, son of a bitch, I'm a Michiganer, not an Aussie. Well, yeah, but, you wanted the leprechaun of prey. That's the closest I could get. Ensign Ricky says, oi, mate, it's bucketing out there. Let's add down to the mechas, ye mate. That would be effing mint. Okay. Ozzy says 7.5 because Borg ship crashing on the planet. I did think that was cool, I gotta say. Alexander says, and me? Yes, you, Alexander. And Dr. Ox says, I'm back. Well, that was weird. Upload a video which was instantly blocked, then instantly unblocked. No intervention from me required. That is kind of weird. Oh, I coughed. Oh, gosh. Okay, no one needs freaking out. Okay. Why would the Romulans abandon the cube at all? The amount of tech that ship could make them a superpower again. Yeah, it doesn't make much sense, except that, quantum. And fourth degree, I am Cornholio! Yes, indeed. Cornholio needs TP for his bunghole. And that is indeed a true problem now, isn't it? Oh, man. And so a little something that I do every now and then when Alexander is here and he super chats a few times. Alexander, you know it's coming, so brace yourselves, everybody else.
The board vessel's moving into range.
On screen.
Let's get lost in that magic place all alone now. Drink a fill from my fountain of love, wet your lips. I'm a man, I'm a teaser, I'm a man, well I'm a virgin, I'm a man, I'm a one-night stand, a man, I'm a man, I'm a man, I'm a dream, I'm a dream divine, make love together.
He's dead.
Yeah, I forgot to unmute. I'm sorry. Got it. Yeah, I got it, Bird. You sent it to me twice. Sorry. Now I gotta wait for it to catch up. At least there's audio in this stream. Well, there was. So, oh, man. Yes, I know. Everybody's sending me messages. I got it. There was a delay. My fault. I'm bad. I'm just made this stupid. Yeah, so... There's that one. There's two. I got like 4, 5, 6 messages about my stupidity there. So... Was it the worst episode? To me, no. Obviously, Bird of Prey thought it was. But I don't think it was the strongest either, obviously. And it's a tough one to grade, to be honest with you, because it's got moments of awesomeness and moments of crap. So, that picks out Nitpicker O'Prey. Well, but you see, here's the thing. Everything Bird said, I think it was legit gripes that he had. But the problem is that, but so the question becomes, when you're looking at a show like this, does the detracting moments, like the breakdown in logic and some of the plot inconsistencies, does it take away from the overall enjoyment of the show, or which is greater, the enjoyment of the show or the disgust in what's happened? So Forza says, love those clips, by the way, very creative. How many do you have? Oh, tons. And Thomas put it in the chat earlier, but if you go to antitracker.com, there's a complete list, although the list needs to be updated because now that there's super chat number 29, that is the one that we debuted tonight with the Planty Puffs cereal. And most of the animated ones my son puts together. The live action ones I've cut together from various sources. Oh, Bird updated the list. Thank you, Bird. I appreciate it. So never mind. The list is up to date then. And so, with that though, and there's Captain Trek puts the link to the list. Thank you, my friend. I'm only a casual Star Trek fan. Said issues bother me much less. Yeah, that's the thing, is that it depends on, I mean, like, I thought that seeing that Borg cube moving was so cool. But the thing is that, but then ultimately, I felt disappointed by that because the Borg cube is then immediately taken down, meaning that we're probably not going to get to see the Borg cube in combat, and which is really a shame. And by the way, little things that I noticed, like for example, when you look at the Borg cube, it had the portal for the Borg sphere in it. Which means that theoretically, since they went through the trouble of putting that in there, they could launch a Borg sphere in the final episode for the final big battle. Who knows? That would be cool. I wouldn't mind seeing, like, say the battle's going hopelessly and then Seven manages to launch the sphere into the combat zone or something. That could be cool. But we'll see. We'll see what happens in the next episode, which is the last episode of the series. The big trick for me, though, is that with my work schedule changing, I don't know exactly. I'm hoping, because I've done these late night live streams or early morning or whatever it is for you, every single episode of the series. And next week, though, I'm probably going to be working a weird schedule, so I may or may not. I've got to try to do it. If I can, I will do it. And so, yeah. 7 of 9 will bring back the Borg cube. I doubt that she could repair the cube. Don't they have drones to repair the cube? No, well, most of the drones were ejected into space in the last episode. There's only a handful of them left. The so-called ex-Borgs. Sister says, I think you're right. May see the sphere. Also, I think we may see Riker on the Titan. Hope we'll get to see the Enterprise who saves the day. I don't think we're going to see the Enterprise specifically, but I think that would be cool. But these allergies are getting the best of me, so I need to take some Allegra and get some thoughts together and try to do some kind of review for this. Are you one with the body? Yes, are you one with the body? No, the repair drones they introduced last week. Oh, yeah, they do have the repair drones, but I don't think that there would be enough to repair the kind of damage we're looking at. I could see that, Bird, but that would be a real bad cop-out. Alright guys, so with that, take care. Thank you all for hanging out with me, and we'll see what happens in the finale next week. Wow, we're actually getting to the end of this run.
Making your way with the nerds today takes everything you've got. Taking a break from hating JJ sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to just get laid? Sometimes you wanna go where all the tricky
I can't believe I did it twice in one freaking stream. Ah! Yes, Joe. Yes, you don't have to tell me twice. I got it the first time. All right. We'll let... All right. So, what I was trying to say is, if you like these discussions, if you want to continue the discussion, and Bird, I got it. You don't have to send me 25 messages. Got it. All right. So, at approximately 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, I will be joining Life with Matthew on his channel, assuming that all is going according to plan, and we'll be just doing a big breakdown of it there. So join us then, and yeah, I screwed up, and...
Please know your name, and they're always glad you came. You want to be in a galaxy where Star Trek isn't lame. You want to go where everybody knows your name. Turds of a feather flock together, that's what we believe. We know a place that's got you covered, a place to get relief. Wouldn't you like to say me Pooh? Sometimes you wanna go where turn steadies know your name, and all Kurogans are to blame. You wanna be where you can see Kuroga go up in flames. You wanna go where everybody knows your name.
You son of a bitch, anti-tracker!